Nothing in this podcast is intended to render legal, financial, medical, or other professional information. Because the details of your situation are fact-dependent, we highly encourage you to find a recommended individual that you can trust to give you the expertise that you need related to your situation.
Today, having a modern medical practice means utilizing the latest technology. MedCharts is a doctor-designed EMR toolkit that offers a streamlined solution to an often overwhelming process. Our software features include organized patient charts, appointment scheduling, generating e-reports and patient scripts using templates, graphing vitals and labs, importing lab reports, intra-office and patient communication, and billing software for invoicing and credit card transactions. Our user-friendly patient portal allows your patients to have access to their own charts. The best part, MedCharts is free. Let us take care of your practice so you could take care of your patients. Learn more and download our free demo today at medcharts.com.
Welcome to Concierge Medicine 101, an introduction to what concierge medicine is. What is this thing? And this is really designed for a physician. If you're a patient, this is not really going to be particularly helpful for you. So let's jump in because I want to talk to you about some basic practice and business stuff for the next couple of minutes that I think will help you understand this industry a little bit better. My name is Michael Tatro, and I am not a physician. I'm a patient. So I know what it's like to sit on the other side of you. I say that because I say this to so many physicians every single year, every single day, every single week. And I know what it is truly like. I have 3 kids invested in my own healthcare family and a wife, and I'm part of a sandwich generation that's also trying to navigate the healthcare system that's overly complicated, overly bureaucratic, and really, really, really expensive, especially in confusing. So I do know what it's like to sit on the other side of the exam room, the other side of the service window. You may know me as the editor-in-chief of or conference speaker or an author or a host of the concierge medicine industry's healthcare trade publication, Concierge Medicine Today, or the host of the industry's conference, the Concierge Medicine Forum. Years ago, when my wife and I had our three children, and we started to navigate and get actively involved to make more intentional decisions about our own healthcare personally, but also for that of our children, we had really 2 goals in mind. That was the safety of the environment and the relational curiosity of the physician and the practice that we were about to select for all of our family's care. Concierge medicine practices should be first and foremost a safe and welcoming environment. It needs to relieve skepticism, tension, and foster curiosity between physician and patient. Now, I am particularly wired and mildly obsessed with creating and shaping experiences in healthcare. I love talking about customer service in healthcare with physicians, and I've done so for nearly 2 decades. I've spent a lot of that time thinking through, interviewing physicians just like you, and asking all of the pesky questions that visiting a concierge medicine office might entail. I want a concierge medicine office to be a more thoughtful, delightful, and welcoming environment that builds on the relationship and trust that a physician and patient need to have and should have in order to help that patient fulfill the vision that physician has for that individual. Concierge medicine success as a physician and business in this industry is about strategy. And strategy is the hard part for any doctor and for any business for that fact. And strategy is about knowing what you want to do and why you are supposed to do it. No one would argue that ideally The doctor's office should be a fixed point in every community, but strategy, it's a moving target. In a way, concierge medicine's aim as a strategy is to get out of the way and help remove the obstacles that hinder patients from meeting with their doctor where they are. So I think that there are really three basic essential ingredients to make concierge medicine work. The first is a subscription or membership in the form of a monthly or annual fee for services delivered or provided by your doctor's office that are not covered by Medicare or your insurance. It's important to note here, concierge medicine is not a replacement nor an insurance product. The second ingredient is the doctor must have an engaging personality and presentation when he's inside of the exam room with the patient. You see, patients have no doubt that what their doctor and what you're saying is true because we all assume that it is. But we want to know that the patient is listening. You want to know that they're listening and you get frustrated. I know I do too. And I'm on this side of the exam room. But we want to know that the physician is listening and that the patient is also listening as well. And we want the patient to, when they are listening to the doctor, to their doctor, to you, that they're connecting the truth that you're speaking into their lives in a practical and memorable way. And that's where many physicians, many medical offices in our healthcare culture and communities today fall way behind. They never address, they address, let me start over, never address an unfelt need until you have made it a felt need. This is something I learned just recently. Being right is not enough. Being medically accurate and scientific and clinical in your answers is not enough. It's a mistake to deliver the truth before you've made the patient hungry for the information. The third is the physical environment and the atmosphere and welcoming experience that a patient is going to have in concierge medicine. An uncomfortable or distracting environment will derail your message of health and wellness and relationship with that patient, and it will result in a negative story being told as soon as they leave. Now, your physical plant, your office environment communicates your competency. Part of that office environment and atmosphere is your staff. And so your staff is really encompassed in this third aspect. You see, your physical environment communicates your competency and your reputation, and your staff and practice culture are a huge deal. I love what Elizabeth Dixon, she's an author of The Customer Experience, noted in her new book. She said that the customer experience will never be better than the current employee experience. Not every doctor is cut out for concierge medicine either. And there's a number of reasons why, which we go into in other webinars and interviews with doctors that you can hear for yourself at conciergemedicinetoday.org, or come to our annual conference, the Concierge Medicine Forum, here in Atlanta every October. We'll cover a lot of those bases, and you can hear for yourself from physicians who've made the change over and into successfully concierge medicine. But maybe you're still not quite convinced. So let's talk about the patient experience and why concierge medicine really exists and continues to remain popular among both patients and physicians. First and foremost, the patient experience. Creating an unforgettable patient experience is what I think concierge medicine is starting to do. It's creating an environment that says, you're welcome here. How many of us have been to medical offices where I remember just recently I walked into a specialist's office to be measured for a scoliosis brace for my daughter. And as soon as we walked in the door, there was the sliding glass window, It was a really small waiting room, and there were a bunch of these all caps signs posted all around the service window telling us, yelling at us more accurately, to pay our bill. You are responsible. I haven't even said one word to the person behind the service window who was, for lack of a better words, not having a great day. Where, unfortunately, that's probably what most patients and most of us are all used to. But I want to start by, before we move into talking more about concierge medicine, I want to ask you a question. What is it like to be on the other side of you? What is it like to be on the other side of the phone from your staff? What is it like to sit in your exam room or your waiting room? You know, I will have something I want to say, and I want to say that I think that today is the day that you can change the world. Now, that's a big, hairy, audacious, lofty goal, right? How can I possibly say that? Well, if you're listening to this, then you probably have realized and come to a point in your career as a physician where you know you need to do something different, and you're just not quite sure what that is. Everybody's telling you you can't sustain this pace. So I believe that maybe today is the day that you're going to decide that you can change the world. Now, I love what we talk with a lot of people, and we've all heard our neighbors' stories, and we've all heard Aunt Margaret's stories at Christmas or holidays around the kitchen island or the dining room table. Tell us about their healthcare journey and what it was like to go to a certain type of doctor's office. And we all try to one up each other. Oh, you think your experience was bad? Let me tell you about mine. And we all try to kind of one up each other on these patient stories about how difficult and challenging that healthcare can be. And it is. I love this quote because I think that it's very helpful to understand that people who are bothered by the idea of, say, concierge medicine or the idea of radical hospitality in healthcare, I think drastically undervalue their doctor, and they truly distort the math. The bar has been set so low in the medical marketplace today that patients never talk about what a great doctor they have. In fact, it's the opposite. America's best places to work rarely include a doctor's office on that list. So my challenge to you is, in the moments ahead that we spend together and in your exploratory journey and questions that you're going to have with the great resources and organizations and physicians you're going to meet along your exploratory journey to learn more about what concierge medicine is and could be in your world, I want you to kick over those walls and keep on walking up the mountain. Because you know what? Your next patient isn't going to wait much longer for you. Now, that might sound harsh, but I think that there's a point to where I'm going and where I want to take us today. I want to look at some trends in patients among people who are actively searching and seeking out a new doctor. These are not current concierge medicine patients. These are just people like you and me who are looking for a new doctor because we're tired of the one that we have. It's not providing those three essential ingredients. Now, doctor-patient customer service and patient experience. You see, we asked, how important is customer service, timeliness, and friendly hospitality to you and your next doctor that you choose? A lot of physicians, your colleagues probably included, would probably tell you that, look, we're in the healthcare, the human condition fixing field. We're omitted from customer service. I remember, if you've ever seen the the series Mad Men. The guy with the white hair was sitting on the couch, and he said, "Look, we're in the people business, and 50% of what we do is about I didn't like the guy." And I would say that it's even higher if you're a physician. It's in the 90th percentile that, you know what? I'm not listening to the truth that you're speaking. I'm from the other side of the exam room as my doctor, because I'm so distracted by the 14 other things that just happened before you even got to the room. I'm worried. And I'm worried about what healthcare is going to look like for my kids and your kids. You see, I want to leave healthcare better than the way it found me. And I think you want that too. So we have to start looking at the patient differently. And concierge medicine is one business model that allows physicians to start thinking about that differently. We need to start considering what it is like to sit on the other side of you. What is the patient experience like right now in your practice? I love my kids and I have started watching some of these trilogies as they get older, and my wife and I said, look, you can't watch PG-13 movies until you're actually 13, and even then there's some that we wouldn't recommend or wouldn't want you to watch. But Lord of the Rings was something that we recently discovered, and we have been walking through all the trilogies and the Hobbits and everything. But I loved, and I thought that this was very poignant now that I've watched it 20 years later, right, with my daughter. And I thought that this point was really interesting. It's a quote from Lord of the Rings, and it says, "It's a dangerous business, Frodo." You might remember Gandalf the Grey saying this to Frodo at the very beginning of the first movie. "It's a dangerous business, Frodo, going out your door and stepping onto the road. And if you don't keep your feet about you, there's no knowing where you might be swept off to." I love this metaphor because it's very telling of what it's like to be a patient today. When you leave the exam room and you've given us a bunch of acronyms that you've left us in this acronym wake, and then hand us off to a staff member, we've now been swept off somewhere else. We don't know what that means. Your staff, more often than not, does not explain it very well to us, nor do most staff even know what the doctor just did. Doctors have to understand, you have to understand in the future, if you're going to be successful in concierge medicine, you have to understand that you're a brand too. You already know this if you've been working any amount of time in healthcare as a private practice or a group in a side of a group or a hospital-based system. You understand that you have a reputation. But as we go into another courses and modules and in our workshops and breakouts and interviews with other doctors over at Concierge Medicine Today and our conference, the Concierge Medicine Forum, a brand 50 years ago was what it told its customers what it was. Today, we are inundated with advertisements and trying to get us to buy this and like that and clap this. Marketing has changed. Business has changed. Healthcare has not caught up, but it has changed too. And I say that from the perspective of you have a reputation to not only protect, but you have a reputation to continue. The Havas Group did a meaningful brand study, and they analyzed over, I think, 350 brands with over 350,000 people. And they discovered that of the brands that consumers and customers like you and me use on a regular basis, if those brands disappeared, would you care? And they found something really interesting. They said that people wouldn't care if 77% of the brands that they use today disappeared. So I thought, from a concierge medicine, from a patient perspective, I wanted to ask this question to people who are not concierge medicine patients, but they were actively Joe and Janes out there looking for a patient, they were looking for a new physician because they were tired of what they were getting in the marketplace. And we found similar results. We asked a series of questions, and the top 7 reasons why patients and people leave their current physician in search of, say, a concierge medicine physician. If you notice, cost is last. Convenience, long wait times. He or she spends less than 15 minutes with me. I feel like a number. The staff is difficult to work with. Retiring, closing, or he or she asks me less than 5 questions. I hope that these numbers, these questions are sobering. I hope you let them wash over you. Now, here's an important question as well. If your doctor went out of business, how much or how little would you actually care? Only 23% said, call the mayor. We got to save this business. They would absolutely be missed. Please don't let this medical office close. We have to save it. So this lines up very, very closely with the 77% of the larger study. Pretty interesting, huh? So what is really most important to patients? What do they want? Well, I think, and I've seen, and the data teases this out, only 11% of patients surveyed noted that cost was the number one factor, the most important factor when choosing a doctor. This emphasizes the long-term relationship necessary between patient and physician. This should be helpful evidence. Show me the evidence, right? You want to look at the data. You want to look at and say, yeah, that tracks. That connects. I want to find a doctor I know, like, and trust. Because right now, I have a doctor, but I don't like him. I don't trust her. I don't even know him. Convenience was second, along with a number of other reasons that is a laundry list, too long to publish here. Do patients actually like their doctor right now? Good, but not great. Pretty great. Nah, just okay. The majority here are not great. Just okay. We got to do better. You can do better. Do people trust their PCP's opinion? And we talked a little bit about this earlier as one of the 3 essential ingredients to make concierge medicine work. And again, it's important to note here, patients have no doubt that what you're saying is true. You've gotten the education, but that's not enough. 5 words from my doctor carry weight. 5 words from you mean more than 50 words about you. You can stand on your degree and your education for only so long because we all assume and presume that what you're saying to us as your patient is true. But we want to know that our physician is listening to us. You're asking better questions. We want you to know that the patient listening needs to connect the truth coming out of your mouth and your words. They need to connect that truth to their lives in a practical and memorable and simple way. Remember, we never want to address an unfelt need until you have made it a felt need. Being right isn't enough. Being medically and clinically accurate isn't enough. You need to be all of those things. But it's a mistake to deliver truth before you've made it from a communication perspective. It's a mistake to deliver truth before you've made a patient hungry for it. They need to connect the dots. I love this. A bit of it got cut off here, I think, in the graphic, so I apologize for that. But this was from a concierge medicine physician. She's just a superstar in the concierge medicine space and really just an amazing business person. And the best peer-to-peer advice I wanted to ask her a few years ago, and she said was, look, don't be a jerk. Being a good physician is not just about knowing how to diagnose and treat disease. Honestly, that's what books and studying is for. Being a good doctor, she said, entails earning the trust of your patients and being honest and forthcoming. It means knowing how to communicate effectively while still remaining sympathetic. It requires you, first and foremost, to be a human being. It honestly bothers me, she says, that young doctors feel that they have to know everything to be a great physician. Put down the damn book and go talk to your patient. Be a friggin' human being. Be a friend. It's really that simple. Now we could end there. We could close the chapter, but I want to continue to inform you about this thing called concierge medicine. You see, I'm passionate about it because I'm probably the last Canadian on the planet to think that it's a good idea. I got 3 kids in this. We got to do something different with our healthcare culture. I love that concierge medicine marries the Hippocratic Oath with the Golden Rule. I love that it wants to focus on educating the physician to be a better business person. It wants to focus on hospitality and customer service. It wants to make the physician-patient relationship closer and more united. You see, hospitality in healthcare, yeah, it's a process. It requires strategy and time and sweat equity. But I should not feel like, as a patient, I'm being processed. So we need to try something new. We need to think outside the box metaphorically, physically, and emotionally. Isn't it funny how the more leadership and the more things that we're responsible for as leaders, as physician CEOs, as, business people, the more our IQ shrinks? Because what you were trained to do is be a great physician. And now suddenly you're thrown into being a business as a physician, the CEO. You're thrown into HR matters. You're thrown into IT matters. You have to decide on phone trees and write up the script for the voicemail tree. You have to make buying decisions about toilet paper and servers. You're not equipped for this. So equip yourself among your team for your weaknesses. We have to try something new. And concierge medicine is an option. It's not the option, and it's not meant for everyone. Now, if concierge medicine, in my opinion, is about super servanthood, and again, I'm not a physician. We're not giving business, rendering legal, accounting, or financial, or other type of professional advice here. We're just giving you our thoughts on concierge medicine. And I think that if concierge medicine is about super servanthood, then it has nothing to apologize for in the marketplace today. So today, I think, is still the day that you can go and change the world. I want you to go now and make healthcare irresistible. And you're like, well, Michael, that's easier said than done. That's really great. You've given a great speech. What now? Well, now that we've covered the 3 basic essential ingredients to succeed in concierge medicine, and you understand what's happening from both the physical, the atmospheric, the experiential, the emotional side from the patient's perspective of the exam room or the waiting room or the service window, you should know that you need to now go on a learning journey. You need to talk with your physicians who are doing this. You need to talk with the organizations that are helping physicians do this and do it well. And you need to decide for yourself, after you've gone on this exploratory learning adventure and journey and gotten your, as one doctor says, your unofficial MBA in concierge medicine. You need to decide if this, after all of that, if this is still right for you. We're not telling you how to do this or that you even should do this, because I've met a decent amount of doctors who are not equipped, do not have the emotional intelligence to make this work, nor do they want to. And that's okay too. In closing, concierge medicine sends a message to both patients and physicians about how healthcare could be and should be. Let's create centers of health that in our communities that patients want to come back to again and again to meet you. Because it's no longer about being the best doctor in the world anymore. It's about being the best doctor for the world, for your community, and for your patients. Thank you.